Welcome back to Judge It, where we dig into the messy, ugly corners of justice. And trust me, today's story will leave you questioning everything you think you know. I'm your guide through this twisted tale, and if you're new here, buckle up, because we don't pull punches. We're diving into a courtroom drama that's less about law and more about who gets to bend it. Picture this. A man walks into a trial, not as a lawyer, not as a judge, but as a defendant, his fate already half decided before the gavel even drops. Why? His skin color didn't match the room. This is Hidden Tales Episode 5, Racial Profiling in Courtroom, and it's not just a story, it's a mirror held up to America's justice system. Ready to see what's reflected? Let's get started. It's 2018, a humid summer day in Birmingham, Alabama, a city with a history so thick with racial tension you can feel it in the air. Our guy, Marcus Tate, 32 years old, black, a mechanic with no record, steps into a courthouse, accused of stealing a car he'd been fixing for a client. Sounds simple, right? Wrong. The client, a white businessman named Richard Grayson, says Marcus took the car for a joyride, crashed it, then lied about it. Marcus says he was just doing his job, test driving it after a repair. No priors, no motive, just a paycheck. So why's he here, facing felony theft charges? Spoiler alert, the answer's not in the evidence, it's in the room. The judge, the jury, the prosecutor, all white, all staring at Marcus like he's already guilty. Ever wonder how much justice weighs when the scales are tipped before the trial even starts? Here's the hook. This isn't some rare fluke, it's a pattern. The Sentencing Project says Black Americans are 5 times more likely to be incarcerated than white Americans, even for the same crimes. 5 times. Let that sink in. Marcus didn't know those stats walking in, but he felt them. He felt them in the way the bailiff gripped his arm a little too tight, the way the prosecutor smirked when he said joyride, like it was a punchline. The evidence? A blurry dash cam clip showing a black man in a hoodie near the car, and Grayson's word. That's it. No fingerprints. No DNA, just a story that fit a stereotype. And Marcus? He's got an alibi. His girlfriend swears he was home that night, but the court didn't seem too interested. Why not? That's what we're here to unpack. Let's set the scene. The courtroom's old, wood-paneled, with a ceiling fan creaking like it's tired of spinning. Marcus sits at the defense table, his public defender, a guy who looks like he's handled one too many cases, scribbling notes. Across the room, Grayson's in a crisp suit, chatting with the prosecutor like they're old golf buddies. The jury? 12 people. Not one black face among them. In a city that's over 70% black, how does that happen? Random selection, they say. Sure. Marcus notices, though. He notices the way the jurors shift in their seats when he looks up, the way the judge, Honorable Gerald H. Pierce, barely glances at him. Pierce has a reputation. Tough on crime, tougher on certain defendants. A 2019 study from the American Bar Association found judges in southern states impose harsher sentences on black defendants up to 30% longer. Coincidence? You tell me. So here's Marcus, sweating through his borrowed suit, watching a system chew him up before he even gets to speak. The trial hasn't started yet, but the air's heavy with something unspoken. Is this justice, or just a play with a script already written? What happens when the gavel falls not on evidence, but on bias? Stick around, because this story's about to twist in ways that'll make you wonder, who's really on trial here, Marcus or the system itself? We're just getting warmed up, and trust me, you won't want to miss what's next. So Marcus Tate's in the hot seat, the courtroom's buzzing, and the trial's about to kick off. You'd think this is where evidence takes center stage, right? Nope. This is where the real show begins, and it's not about facts, it's about perception. The prosecutor, a guy named Daniel Hargrove, steps up, adjusts his tie, and launches into his opening statement like he's auditioning for a movie. "Ladies and gentlemen," he says, voice smooth as silk, "this is a simple case of theft. A man who couldn't resist temptation." He pauses, glances at Marcus, lets the jury connect the dots. Temptation. A black man in a hoodie near a car. That's the picture Hargrove's painting, and he's barely mentioned the crash. Why bother with details when a stereotype does the heavy lifting? Marcus's lawyer, Paul Decker, gets up next, looking like he'd rather be anywhere else. He's got 10 years as a public defender, a caseload that'd bury most, and about 5 minutes to prep this one. "My client's innocent," he says, voice flat. "He was working, not stealing." That's it. No flair, no fire. The jury's already half asleep, and Marcus feels it, like he's sinking deeper into a hole he didn't dig. Ever wonder why public defenders in the U.S. handle over 300 cases a year, while prosecutors get half that? Resources, baby. Hargrove's got a team, Decker's got a notepad. Fair fight? You decide. The prosecution calls its star witness. Richard Grayson, the car owner, all polished and confident. He swears Marcus took the car, wrecked it, then made up some story about a test drive. "I trusted him," Grayson says, voice dripping with regret. "And he betrayed me." The jury nods, eating it up. Here's the kicker. Grayson's a local big shot, owns 3 dealerships, sits on the Chamber of Commerce. In Birmingham, his word's gold. Marcus, just a mechanic, no connections, no clout. The dash cam footage rolls. Grainy, shaky, showing a figure in a hoodie near the car. Could be Marcus, could be half the city. No face, no proof. But Hargrove leans in. "That's him, isn't it?" And the jury's eyes narrow. Perception over evidence. 1-0. Now let's talk numbers. The U.S. Department of Justice says black men are 6 times more likely to be falsely accused of crimes than white men. 6 times. In 2018 alone, over 60% of wrongful convictions overturned by DNA involved black defendants. Marcus doesn't know those stats, but he's living them. His girlfriend Aisha takes the stand next, says he was home watching TV that night, 10 miles from the crash. She's nervous, voice shaky, but firm. Hargrove smirks, crosses his arms. "Convenient," he mutters, loud enough for the jury to hear. Then he grills her. "You sure about that time? You're his girlfriend, right? Like love's a crime, too." Aisha's alibi's solid, but it's crumbling under the weight of doubt. Why's her word worth less than Grayson's? Here's where it gets spicy. The judge, Gerald Pierce, cuts Decker off mid-objection, says, "Move it along," like he's bored. Pierce has a track record, sentenced a black teen to 15 years for a first-time drug charge last year, while a white kid got probation for the same thing. Pattern? Maybe? Bias? You tell me. The jury's watching, and Marcus sees it. The way they lean forward for Grayson, lean back for Aisha. He's not just fighting a charge now, he's fighting a narrative. Ever wonder how much skin color sways a verdict? A 2020 UCLA study found all white juries convict black defendants 16% more often than white ones. 16%. That's not a hunch, that's math. By the end of day 1, Marcus is drowning. The prosecution's building a castle out of smoke, and the defense? Barely a whisper. Hargrove drops a bombshell. A second witness, a gas station clerk, claims he saw a suspicious black man near the car that night. No ID, no specifics, just suspicious. The word hangs in the air, heavy, loaded. Marcus grips the table, heart pounding. Is this justice or a script he's been cast in? Stick with me because day 2's coming and it's about to get wilder. Who's winning here? The truth or the story they want you to buy? Day 2 hits like a freight train, and Marcus Tate's world is teetering on the edge. The courtroom's hotter now, tension thick enough to choke on, and the prosecution's ready to swing for the fences. That gas station clerk, Jimmy Rawls, shuffles to the stand, a wiry guy with a fidgety stare. "I saw him," he says, pointing at Marcus, "hanging around the car looking shifty." Shifty. There's that word again, vague as fog, sharp as a blade. Hargrove nods, all smug, like he's just cracked the case wide open. No time of day, no clear description, just a black man in a hoodie. Sound familiar? It's the same blurry dash cam figure, but now it's got a witness. Or does it? Decker, Marcus's lawyer, finally wakes up, tries to poke holes. "How far were you?" he asks. 50 feet, Rawls says. "Dark out?" "Yeah." "You wear glasses?" "Sometimes." The jury shifts, but Hargrove swoops in. "He's sure it was the defendant?" And Rawls nods like a puppet. Here's the twist. Rawls works at a station Grayson owns. Conflict of interest? Maybe. Coincidence? You tell me. In 2017, the National Registry of Exonerations found 52% of wrongful convictions involved witness misidentification, mostly against black defendants. Marcus doesn't know that, but he's feeling it, every second, every stare. Then comes the curveball. Hargrove plays a 911 call, Grayson's voice, panicked, reporting the theft. "He took my car. I saw him peel out." Time stamp, 9:47 p.m. Aisha swore Marcus was home by 9:30, 10 miles away. Basic math says he'd need to be Usain Bolt to make that work. Decker objects. "No proof it's my client driving." But Judge Pierce shuts him down. Overruled. Let's hear it. The jury leans in, hooked. Hargrove's grinning now, spinning a tale of a reckless thief, while Marcus sits there, fists clenched, watching his life unravel. Ever wonder how a single voice can outweigh an alibi? The prosecution rests, and it's Decker's turn to fight back, or try. He calls Marcus to the stand. Big move, big risk. Marcus walks up, head high, voice steady. "I fixed the car," he says. "Test drove it that afternoon, parked it back at the shop by 6. He's calm, precise, but the jury's eyes are cold. Hargrove crosses him, rapid fire. "You like fast cars, don't you? Ever take one for a spin? Why'd Rawls see you?" Marcus fires back. "That wasn't me." But Hargrove cuts in. "So he's lying." The trap's set. Call the witness a liar. Look guilty. Don't. Look weak. Marcus stumbles. "I don't know what he saw." And the jury scribbles notes. Doubts creeping in, fast. Here's the gut punch. Decker digs up a receipt. Marcus bought beer at 9:15 p.m., a corner store near home, time stamped, cashier confirmed. Solid proof he wasn't near the car at 9:47. The courtroom buzzes, but Pierce bangs the gavel. "Order!" Hargrove shrugs. "Doesn't mean he didn't steal it earlier." Wait, what? The story's shifting. First a joyride, now a premeditated theft. The jury blinks, confused, but Pierce lets it slide. A 2021 ACLU report says black defendants face narrative switching in 40% of trials. Prosecutors tweak the crime to fit the evidence. Marcus is living proof, and it's brutal. The climax hits when a juror, a middle-aged white woman, asks a question through Pierce. "Why didn't you call the police if you were innocent?" Marcus freezes. "I didn't know I had to," he says. "I just went home." The room goes silent. To her, it's suspicious. To Marcus, it's survival. Ever heard of Tamir Rice? Philando Castile? Black men calling for help doesn't always end well. The jury doesn't get that, though. They see guilt in his silence. Pierce smirks. Hargrove sits back, and Marcus realizes this isn't about the car anymore. It's about him, his face, his place. Day 2 ends, and the air's electric. The receipt's out there, the alibi's holding, but the narrative's winning. Is Marcus a thief, or just a target? The prosecution's built a house of cards, but it's standing tall, for now. Closing arguments are next, and trust me, you won't believe how this lands. Stay tuned, because justice is about to get real messy. Day 3 dawns, and the courtroom's a pressure cooker ready to blow. Marcus Tate's fate hangs on closing arguments, and the stakes couldn't be higher. Hargrove steps up first, all swagger, voice booming. "This man," he says, jabbing a finger at Marcus, "saw an opportunity, took it, and lied to cover his tracks." He weaves the dash cam, Rawls's shaky testimony, and Grayson's 911 call into a tidy little story. Thief, crash, guilt. Never mind the receipt, the alibi. He brushes them off like crumbs. "Don't be fooled," he warns the jury, "by a convenient excuse." The room's silent, but Marcus feels the weight. Every word's a brick, building a wall around him. Decker's turn. He stands, adjusts his tie, and tries to fight back. "Evidence," he says, "not stories, should decide this case." He points to the receipt, 9:15 p.m., 10 miles away, proof Marcus wasn't there. "The prosecution's got nothing," he insists, "just bias and a blurry video." It's a decent swing, but his voice wavers, and the jury's eyes glaze over. Hargrove's tale is sexier, stickier. Truth's no match for a good yarn. Ever wonder why juries convict on vibes, not facts? A 2022 Stanford study says emotional appeals sway verdicts 20% more than hard evidence. Marcus is learning that the hard way. Judge Pierce gives instructions, voice dry as dust. "Weigh the evidence," he says. "Be fair." Fair? Marcus almost laughs. The jury files out and the wait begins. Hours stretch like years. He sits, staring at the floor, while Aisha grips his hand under the table. Grayson's in the hall, chatting up a deputy, all smiles. The system's his playground. Marcus is just a guest. Finally, the jury's back, faces blank. The foreman stands, clears his throat. "We find the defendant guilty." The word lands like a punch. Marcus blinks, Aisha gasps, and Pierce nods, like it's routine. Felony theft, 5 years. 5 years for a car he didn't steal. Here's the kicker. Post-trial, a local reporter digs up dirt. Rawls? He's Grayson's cousin, buried 3 times in the family tree. The dash cam? Edited. Time code off by hours. Too late, though. The gavel's fallen. Marcus appeals, but 80% of felony appeals fail, says the Bureau of Justice. He's in a cell now, while Grayson's selling cars. Justice? Or just a game with loaded dice? The 2020 Sentencing Project found black men get sentences 19% longer than white men for the same crimes. 19%. That's not a glitch. That's a feature. Marcus isn't a statistic yet, but he's close. So, what's the truth here? Was Marcus profiled, framed, or just unlucky? The receipt says one thing, the jury another. Maybe Rawls lied, maybe Grayson pulled strings, maybe Pierce didn't care, or maybe it's bigger, systemic, baked in, a machine that chews up guys like Marcus and spits out numbers. You decide. This isn't about one trial, it's about a mirror cracking, showing us flaws we'd rather ignore. Did justice win or just power? Chew on that because this story's done, for now. Hey, if this hit you hard, smash that like button, or don't, your call. Drop a comment. Was Marcus screwed by bias, or did the jury get it right? Subscribe if you're hooked. Because, Judge, it's got more tales to unravel. Next one's wilder, trust me. Share this with someone who'd argue it all night, and check out our last video. It's a riot. Stay curious, stay sharp. We're out.